In this week's Parsha, we're given the commandment to build the Mishkan, which was the portable sanctuary in the desert. The Torah says, "They shall make a sanctuary for me, and I will dwell in it." B'shachanti b'socham. Grammatically, though, b'socham is not "I will dwell in it." Rather, it is "I will dwell in them." The reason, as the late Rabbi Lord Jonathan Sachs says so beautifully, that the Shekhinah, the divine presence, lives not in a building, but in its builders. Hashem lives not in the structures of stone, but in the human heart. Hashem lives in our hearts. The Mishkan was not a place in which the objective existence of Hashem was somehow more concentrated than elsewhere. Rather, it was a place whose Kedusha, holiness, had the effect of opening our hearts to Hashem. Now, this is not something that pertains to one generation alone. But the truth is, it's a machlokes, a disagreement between Uncle Moshe and the Kotzker Rebbe. Uncle Moshe says Hashem is everywhere. The Kotzker says no, Hashem is not everywhere. Says the Kotzker Rebbe, Hashem is only where we let him in. The concept of the Mishkan is that Hashem lives in the human heart whenever we let him in. Hashem is everywhere. He can be reached anywhere. It has nothing to do with the temporary structure, but it is everything to do with us. How do we let Hashem into our hearts? One of the ways we can learn from a special Shabbos we have this week. Over the next few weeks and the weeks surrounding Purim, we have 4 special Torah readings. And this week we read Shekalim, which is the portion in the Torah where the Jews were instructed to give a half shekel, and this was then used for the Beis HaMikdash, the temple. And Moshe also then used it for a census, that is, by counting the money, he counted the people. At face value, just the fact that everyone gave a half shekel, no more, no less, shows that everyone of the Jewish people is equally significant as part of the nation. But there's an interesting Rashi. We are told that when Hashem gave over this commandment to Moshe, he couldn't understand it, and so Hashem showed him a coin of fire. Now this seems strange. How difficult is it to understand what giving a coin looks like? And how did a coin of fire clarify what it means to Moshe? The Kabrina Rebbe explains that Hashem told Moshe that everyone brings a half shekel, because as we explained, everyone is equal, and that this would atone for their sins and would uplift them. But Moshe says, how on earth? Firstly, we know that people are not equal. Some are wealthy and others are poor. Some are intelligent and others are not. And how can a half shekel, which is hardly going to break the bank, atone for their sins and lift them up? Hashem says, do you know what is significant? It's not the coin that you see, but it is the fire. The fire represents the fire, the power of the Yetzer Hara. That Yetzer Hara that says, don't give your money to tzedakah, don't do that mitzvah. It's not the denomination of the coin that is important. What is important is countering the Yetzer Hara that told them not to give. Hashem says, don't look at the monetary amount. Look at what is underneath it. The challenge, the hurdle, that's the real donation. That's the real gift to Hashem. And therefore Moshe understood that indeed every Jew is equal, because it doesn't matter what your circumstances are. It matters how strongly you are willing to face the Yetzer Hara. And in that, everyone is equal, because everyone has a Yetzer Hara. It's not about the magnificence and the greatness of the acts we may see to the human eye. The greatness is not in what is being done, but in what is being overcome. The donation is a donation of ourselves. We do this to come closer to Hashem, to let him into our hearts. And I think that it's so important to remember now how much our little actions mean to Hashem. Whatever you're struggling with, maybe you don't feel like saying more to him, because what's your mumbled perek for the hostage is going to help anyway. That's exactly the point. The greatness is not necessarily saying the whole of Sefer Tehillim, but what you have to overcome to do it. And that way, Hashem will dwell in your hearts, always. Wishing you a good Shabbos and Chodesh Tov.